Lamb Financial Group is now 9 years old. We started in 2008. The company was founded by Josh Lamberg. Josh is a former professional baseball player. We are now close to 65 employees. We should be about 70 by the end of the year. The company's pushing about $12 million in revenue right now. Well, we started the process probably about 3 years before we actually hired a coach. I've known Josh for over 30 years. I joined as the CFO, as probably the eighth or ninth employee. Josh said to me, "Yeah, Dan, if you come on and you're the best CFO of a $2 million insurance company, insurance broker, then we both screwed up. While my day job is counting the beans, my real job here is to find ways to scale the company. I've always been an avid reader. Josh and I, we're both read some of Simon Sinek's books, some of Gladwell's book. We understand kind of some of the broader concepts here. One day, Josh came across the Mastering the Rockefeller Habits through a friend of ours, Benji Kirshner, who runs a company, Elite SEM, which has been a Gazelle's client, for a number of years, ahead of us as far as our growth goes. And we read Mastering the Rockefeller Habits. We adapted it. We said, year one, we're going to focus on core values and instituting a meeting rhythm. We did that. Year two, we focused on systems and structure. We invested quite heavily in building a system or a process that allow our company to scale. Year three, we started getting into measurements and accountabilities. And at that point, it kind of got beyond my capability of reading the book and trying to implement it. We started looking for coaches, probably in the summer. Went to the Dallas conference and met 2 or 3 different coaches, specifically down there, which we didn't feel were quite the right fit for us. It became clear to us that while we certainly are interested in the intellectual and the academic aspect of this and setting up these systems of structure and implementing the process, we really need a life coach. We need people who have had the same experiences as us in growing a business, have been through that entrepreneurial trajectory, and can help us solve real business problems. Josh is a natural leader and has a lot of kind of the outspokenness and charisma and leadership characteristics already. We don't necessarily need the coaching there, but we need someone who has been through these specific issues before. So we met Rich, you, and a handful of other coaches. Post conference, and it was clear, from the get go that you shared the same kind of ideals and the same sort of outlook that we did. We didn't know it at the time, but another real benefit is that your relationship, with Wayne and your firm's structure is very similar to us at Lamb, where there's 2 people that have a very clear division of labor within the company and kind of complement or supplement each other well. Well, the most obvious change in the company would be our meeting rhythm. When we first implemented the Rockefeller Habits, 3 years ago, we started with, we just did this weekly meeting, this weekly huddle, and we didn't really know what we were doing. We just kind of said, this is what we're doing. Everyone kind of patted themselves on the back, and that was that. There was no real structure, no real continuity from meeting to meeting. With you guys, immediately, January 1st or whatever we started with this weekly huddle. It became, the interaction amongst the various silos of organization became much greater. Secondly, the ability to focus on very specific goals has been extremely beneficial. You guys force us to be really disciplined in coming up with just a handful of goals, and through the combination of that and the meetings and constantly communicating where we are with the goals has moved the ball greatly. We have made amazing strides organizationally. throughout the eight or 9 months. And yeah, I see it with Josh removing himself from the day-to-day business much more so than we would have ever anticipated in 9 months, and us giving more independence to our management team than I would have expected. And I see that the seeds are in place for incremental growth going forward. I've always been a numbers or a data guy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my biggest struggles, before you guys came along, what was helping to find the right data to measure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that gives a coherent story of where the company is.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys have helped me to articulate that very clearly. Also, as someone whose background is not in insurance, I was coming from investment banking and private equity, which are very broad industries. I have been able, even more so, to help run the company at a granular level without having been through the granular experiences of the industry. And the structure that you guys have created have allowed me to do that. It's been really interesting. I don't know if we were unique or not in this regard, but when we started, maybe a third of our leadership team was brand new. Probably half our leadership team was within a year or two. I mean, I guess we're a growing company, and when Josh and I did the Rockefeller Habits 3 years ago, it was the two of us in a room.
Mm-hmm.
Now the three of us, if you include Corey, and we've now grown to 9. So it's a third of our team doesn't know any different. So they come in, and this is the way we do things, and they've hit the ground running. The other third has been eager to adapt, eager to contribute. They see their value within the firm growing, and the amount of independence that they have within the firm. And frankly, I think they appreciate that not having Josh breathing down their necks, for lack of a better term. They appreciate that amount of rope that your system has provided. When we hired you guys, my HR person had quit, within a few days of that. And Josh and I were in a bit of a mini crisis. I think it was actually before we hired you. And you introduced us to scorecards at that point, and kind of gave a broad overview of top grading, or the WHO process.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, that hire and every subsequent hire has gone through the scoreboards and the A rating, and it's been like night and day. Being able to get very efficient in our screening process, making sure we're interviewing the right people, and it becomes super apparent who's fitting and who's not fitting. And frankly, I saw maybe half a dozen people who understood what we were doing, realized that they were no longer the right fit within the company, and have self-selected out, simply because they understand the accountability that comes along with the scorecards and the A rating or et cetera. Well, when Josh and I first did the Rockefeller Habits 3 or 4 years ago, we did the core values, we did the mission to Mars, we did kind of the standard process that's within the book, and we were the only two people. We're the only two people left that had done that. So it immediately created buy-in from the entire management team to do that kind of day one, in your process. And now everyone feels like they have a role in it. Granted, we ended up with core values that are pretty similar to where we had started, but now everyone feels ownership in it.
They were part of creating them.
Absolutely. And I think, I could tell you personally, being able to see how the core values flow through the organization and flow through our 1-year plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan, et cetera, helps me kind of understand the big picture here. And from my personal experience in dealing with my direct reports, they really appreciate understanding where their small role plays within the broader picture of the organization. I think Align is a really interesting tool. Josh, yeah, as a former baseball player, has always been big on his stats, and in many ways, Align is our company's daily box score. We're still kind of working out the kinks and figuring out the best way that it fits within our organization. But at the end of the day, we sit there in our weekly meeting, and it is abundantly clear who has accomplished what, and where we as a company need to dedicate resources to improving. It's as simple as red, yellow, and green. And there's I guess there's an element of peer pressure. Your numbers are up there. There's nowhere to hide, and it's a forced accountability. Not only have I seen better performance, but we've begun to understand exactly who we're dealing with, and what types of employees we have, and who are the best fits to be within our team. Because you certainly, it gives people the opportunity, if they want to sandbag a little bit, they try to sandbag, and we can. There's nowhere to hide. Yes, but probably not in the way that your clients typically do, or maybe it is. Our budget generally for salary and wages has gone up since we've hired you guys. It's become clear to us that we need to hire higher caliber people. We've set the structure in place to do so. Fortunately, the company is doing well, and we have the cash to do so. So it's helped us in allocating our resources towards people in a greater way than we had a year ago. On the flip side of that, we're just getting into it now, but we're starting to look at profitability and unit economics in different ways. By far the biggest impact so far is that Josh and I have become infinitely more organized and spend our time more efficiently in the company in general, but specifically when we're talking with each other. You guys have given us a framework, to operate it, which is, super valuable. Number two, I guess if you ask me kind of what my most salient memory would be, it would be that first retreat where we all, got together. Most of us hadn't spent significant time together, outside of the office, particularly with the third of our team being new. This was a great opportunity for us to get to know each other and get to, create trust and create trust and, really friendship amongst each other, kind of band of brothers in this together mentality. Third, I guess I would go back to our most recent retreat where we sat down at the table and our second quarter hadn't been as strong, or the beginning of our second quarter hadn't been as strong as we would have liked, and all of a sudden something clicked, and we had a tidal wave of new business come in, and really it was we sat there at that retreat. We said, "Shit, this is working." We have to set the bar higher now, because we have all done exactly what we said we were going to do, and there was a sense of fulfillment and a sense of accomplishment that was really cool. Probably something that I've only felt at this company 2 or 3 times over the last 5 years. When we made this decision, Josh and I basically said, is it worth the cost of an employee, more or less, the cost of an FTE, to get insight into someone or a team that's had 30 plus, 40, however many years you and Wayne have had, to give us the kind of guidance. And so that seems like a great hire. It wasn't so much the financial burden of this. It was more one, do Josh and I have the time and the capacity to do this? 2, is our team capable of taking this on? Or we go look like idiots for jumping into this and then finding out that it's not the right fit, and switching gears midstream. So we evaluated that. Granted, I guess we kind of cheated a little bit by having done this Rockefeller Habits before and read the book, like knowing a little bit what we're getting used to. And for us, it was Josh saying to me, "Can you handle this? Can you run this?" Because Josh is not the person to sit there and handle. Run the meetings and go make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. He wants to live at the higher level. That this was kind of tailor made for my skill set. And it frankly was a really easy decision. I'd like the company to be 10 times bigger. I'd like to be looking at an organization that is fully aligned top to bottom. We've been with you guys for 8 or 9 months now, and the 9 people on our management team and a handful of other people, we only make up 20% of the company.
Right.
The rest of the company is tangentially involved with this because they're getting they're getting feedback from the managers. But I want the entire team top to bottom to be streamlined here, and us kind of working in lockstep. Mm-hmm. And developing this system that is more or less running on its own, allowing Josh and I to really look for ways to scale this business in other arenas that we haven't even began to consider. I guess general advice that I would give to anyone looking to embark on this is that you have to come into it with an open mind. That you and Wayne are new to our business, new to our industry. You certainly have expertise that is relevant to. But there is a process in molding what you guys are teaching to our business and finding ways to make it fit, to make it fit right. So there's an element of working with you or any other coach where you have to interpret what you guys are saying and finding the right fit, for our business.
Right.
And it took us a little while to kind of figure that rhythm out, but that it's been infinitely more valuable, once we did that.